What's up, guys? This is Taking the Field with Stevie Mac, episode 20 now of the podcast. I'm your host, Stephen MacDonald, and what I want to get to with this episode today, really quick in just a few minutes, is the Premier Lacrosse League has announced their site for the championship series starting this July 25th. They've announced that it'll be Utah hosting the championship series at Zions Bank Stadium. Now, rumors were that the league was also considering using IMG Academy down in Florida, since that's where they held training camp last summer, but I think it was a great move by the league to not opt with that choice because of the fact that the NBA and now I believe the MLS are also both going to be down in Florida for the resumption of their seasons once those get underway in July as well. So now this kind of gives them their own place to go and do their thing and have it be successful on its own. So just to recap the idea of the championship series here, it'll be 20 games in 16 days, with each of the seven teams getting 4 games apiece before the playoffs start in early August. Now, the playoffs will be seeded by overall record in those 4 games, along with the team's goal differentials. And now that we know the what, when, and where of this whole championship series situation, really the only thing left is the schedule of games. You know, what time the games will be played at each day on NBC Sports and who's going to be playing who. You know, the Atlas versus Archers, Redwoods, Chaos, whatever the case may be. So we know where it'll be played, when it'll be played, and things like that, how we can watch, but we don't know necessarily who's going to be playing who and at what time they'll even be playing. And I had some really good conversations with people on Twitter last night that I follow about the championship series itself and who people think will win the championship series this summer. And it seems like the majority opinion here is that if the Whips don't repeat as champions, then it'll likely be one of either the Redwoods, Archers, or Atlas, based off the overhaul that their rosters have kind of taken this offseason and the big additions at key positions that they've made, whether it's the Redwoods at faceoff getting Peyton Smith in the collegiate draft, the Archers getting their quarterback of the offense in Grant Ament, or the Atlas adding guys like Brian Costabile to their already stacked midfield group. And the Chaos could still be in that discussion after just missing out on the championship game last summer when the Redwoods took them down in the semis. But I think that the other teams that I just mentioned really improved a lot more than the Chaos did, where Andy Towers even has said recently that they felt comfortable with the guys that they already have on the roster going into this championship series and basically didn't really see the need to do too much of a facelift to that roster as it was. So they basically conceded this offseason in favor of that of 2021, where that collegiate draft, where a lot of those guys elected to return for their final years of eligibility, will be absolutely stacked next year. So they did kind of concede this offseason and say, hey, we're going to wait till next year when we see that there's better opportunity for us to get better. But that's not to say that they won't be able to compete this year as well, as I think a lot of people believe that they will. And then one final thing that I want to get into with this episode really quick is that Taking the Field with Stevie Mac is now running a fantasy lacrosse league. So it was announced about a month ago now that fantasy lacrosse will be coming to the PLL this summer, thanks to a partnership between Pro Lacrosse Talk and Flow Fantasy Lacrosse. So Taking the Field with Stevie Mac has now started our own fantasy league for the championship series this July. The league has a max capacity of 12 teams. We're currently sitting at 10. So if you want one of those final 2 spots that are left, and they are going fast, we've only been up and running for about a day or so now. That's how fast this has gone. The draft does open on July 10th, so we're a little less than a month away from that. If you want one of those spots, like I said, shoot me a message in the comments, or you can message me directly on Twitter at Stevie Mac Media, and we'll get you signed up as fast as we can for one of those 2 remaining spots, and we'll get it going later on this July when the championship series rolls around. It'll be a lot of fun. I've had a lot of conversations with guys that have already signed up for the league, and they're all excited as well to get this thing going and see what it's all about. in just a little over a month from now. So that'll do it for this episode of Taking the Field. Make sure to like, comment, and share on this post. Let me know what you guys think about the championship series as well as fantasy lacrosse. Let me know if you want in on my championship lacrosse fantasy league. That'll do it for this one. Thanks for listening.